We already know this, but I refuse to let the point slip beneath the sofa cushions of pop culture. Zoop on Super Nintendo is the bright pink platypus of 16-bit puzzlers. It waltzed into 1995 wearing hyperactive chevrons, declared itself America's largest killer of time. Yes, Viacom's marketing department typed that with a straight face, and then dared us to juggle color theory under a ticking clock that felt calibrated by a sadistic metronome. Bizarre? Obviously. Underrated? Absolutely. Foundational? You might laugh, yet the core loop rattles design DNA you can still taste in Zuma and Pokemon Puzzle League. Why does a one-button rotary shooter fused to a match 3 brain teaser still yank my attention harder than a Souls boss? Why did Viacom plug it into a Blockbuster World Video Game Championship before stores even stocked the box? And why is my cheap cardboard kaleidoscope, I call him Hypno Larry, vibrating on my desk right now like he's auditioning for a Bee Gees comeback? These mysteries collide inside a single square playfield that looks innocent until the moment it devours your peripheral vision. Buckle up, because we are about to pry the neon casing off Zoop, peer at the gears, and maybe discover why the cartridge never quite escaped its flea market exile. Historical context. Close your eyes, cue up a mixtape of Ace of Base and Coolio, and picture spring 1995. Console wars had settled into an uneasy armistice. Sega bragged about blast processing, Nintendo flexed Donkey Kong Country's Silicon Bananas, Sony's PlayStation skulked in import columns, and PC magazines filled sidebars with doom-wad URLs that required 3 floppy disks to print. Meanwhile, Viacom, flush with Nickelodeon slime money and MTV Synergy Fantasies, launched Viacom New Media, a games label determined to prove that owning a television empire entitled you to a seat at the cartridge banquet. They needed a tentpole property fast, something not shackled to an expensive license yet flashy enough to justify MTV-style bumpers. British studio Hookstone pitched a head-to-head between Reflexes and Retina Fatigue, a color-swapping, time-pressured arena puzzler distilled to a single cursor and 4 loud hues. Viacom Bit pumped magazine spreads full of Opti-Challenge graphics and promised a cross-platform rollout on every living console plus DOS. I remember seeing Zoop's first screenshots in GamePro. The preview looked like someone spilled Fruity Pebbles on a light bright, then traced the mess with Microsoft Paint's airbrush. But the copy made a bold claim: real-time puzzle combat that would make Mario sweat. Hyperbole sells, baby. Weeks later, Blockbuster announced that its World Video Game Championship 2 preliminaries would run Zoop as one of the scoring titles. That meant teenagers who arrived looking for NBA Jam found themselves steering a jittery triangle against a rainbow wave while store employees shouted level codes. I competed in the local branch, choked under pressure, and blamed the sticky film coating the controller. In truth, my brain could not parse Zoop's escalation curve fast enough. Hypno Larry, who sat in my jacket pocket back then, claims the fluorescent ceiling lights interfered with my performance. Sure, Larry, keep tilting. The broader puzzle landscape mattered too. Tetris still reigned uncontested in handheld land. Nintendo was busy selling Yoshi's Cookie and Panel Pon reskins. Sega leaned on its Puyo Puyo imports. Every publisher wanted the next big mind snack, ideally something easy to learn but fiendish to master, and if the visuals could double as a children's television intro, all the better. Viacom's team coined Opti-Challenge to hype Zoop's convulsing backgrounds, promising sensory excitement unmatched on 16-bit hardware. Whether that was brilliance or hubris depends on how many wins you logged before the kaleidoscope patterns convinced your eyeballs to unionize. For Hookstone, Zoop was both passion project and survival bet. The studio had cut its teeth on Harlequin and was desperate for a breakout hit. They even toyed with location tests in Chicago arcades. An early build reportedly hid a monochrome safety mode behind a Konami-style 10-button handshake. Testers loved the option. Viacom's producers hated the implication that the main game might hurt epileptic players. The toggle vanished from release candidates, leaving only a rumor and a couple of blurry Polaroids archived on an obscure Usenet thread. That decision would haunt customer service hotlines whenever parents phoned to ask why Level 30 looked like Nickelodeon threw up. Mechanics and why they pop boot the SNES cart and a crosshair, I call him Zooper because mascots need names, sits dead center in a square arena. 4 conveyor lanes frame the edges, each marching tiles inward, one step at a time. Every tile flaunts one of 4 colors: purple, green, orange, or cyan. You nudge Zooper with the D-pad, then slap the lone action button. If Zooper's current color matches the tile he shoots at, the target disappears along with every tile of that same shade connected behind it in that line. If the colors mismatch, Zooper swaps positions with the tile and inherits its hue. That means your ammunition palette constantly morphs based on mistakes or intentional swaps, turning misfires into both penalty and strategic gear shift. The incoming lanes keep advancing on a global timer, faster every level. Let one tile cross the inner threshold and splat against Zooper's hitbox, and your run ends in a shrill klaxon. The tension feels less like Tetris's elegant gravity and more like Robotron 2084's claustrophobic swarm, except your bullets are color values and every reload rewrites the very ammo type. The feedback loop marries planning and twitch improvisation. 2 consecutive wrong swaps can seal your fate, while a single perfect clear opens breathing room reminiscent of dodging a bullet hell spread with a single pixel to spare. Special tiles spice the mix. A lightning piece detonates a 3x3 proximity bomb centered on impact, clearing clumps and buying a brief sigh. A gear piece slices an entire row or column, whichever direction you shot. Collecting 5 spring pieces in any order unleashes a board-wide vacuum that sucks the leading edge back 2 spaces. The most psychologically delicious power-up is the color bomb, an irregular paint splotch tile that, when eliminated, scans the quarter of the board around Zooper. Any tile sharing the color of the first piece struck in that quadrant evaporates in a firework pop that never gets old. Color bombs turn potential mistakes into chain reactions if you bait the right hue into position. Pulling one off feels like hacking the source code. Every 4th level, Viacom's beloved Opti challenge triggers. The background flips from geometric pinstripes to hypnotic spirals, the color palette inverts, and what felt like clear visual lanes become camouflage. On CRTs, the interference patterns practically shimmer. On modern flat panels, the effect still distracts but loses some analog menace, like watching a strobe light through polarized sunglasses. Critics at the time accused the gimmick of style over substance, yet it is absolutely substance. The game weaponizes ocular fatigue so that long runs require not just dexterity but ocular stamina. How does this compare to other puzzlers? Quick analogy, imagine columns if Sega spliced the jewels with Space Invaders, then forced you to reload by eating the bullets you meant to fire. Or picture Tetris Attack's combo rush, but on a single axis, your cursor pinned in the crossfire. Better yet, think Gradius power-up management meets Picross color elimination, then swirl the cocktail until physics professors get dizzy. That stew sounds like chaos, yet Zoop's rule set remains minimal. 1 button, 1 square playfield, 4 colors, escalating panic. It is the easy-to-learn, impossible-to-put-down cliche with a disco glaze that pre-Instagram designers would have described as radical. Now the juicy cheat. Hold select at the mode screen, type icy points on your controller. Up, L, down, R, up, L, down, R if you prefer D-pad Morse. Then press start. Your score inflates with 100,000 vanity points before level 1 even begins. No actual gameplay benefit unless you treat leaderboards as gospel, but it feels like pocketing a high score brag at the arcade without burning 50 cents. Hypno Larry winks every time I do it, which is either encouragement or haunting. Mini rant time. Modern mobile puzzlers drown you in pop-ups. Extra moves for 99 cents, energy refills at noon, rare gem skins that glow like a Twitch overlay. Zoop asks nothing but your reflexes and maybe an aspirin. Lose at level 41, press again and chase redemption. Win at level 99, take a Polaroid, mail it to your enemy, and retire. There is a purity to that transaction, absent from the App Store's dopamine casino, legacy, and influence. Let us address the obvious. Zoop never enjoyed a second act. Viacom New Media shuttered in 1997, focus shifted to CD-ROM edutainment, and Hookstone slipped into contract gigs. Without a banner owner to push legacy ports, Zoop slid off retail shelves into clearance bins. Renting it at Blockbuster became a nostalgia dare rather than a competitive badge. Why didn't Nintendo scoop it for Virtual Console? Possibly licensing spaghetti between Viacom's successor companies. Or maybe the Opti Challenge copyright sits locked in a filing cabinet next to the lost episodes of Ren and Stimpy. Yet influence ripples invisibly. In 1998, Mitchell Corporation released Puzz Loop, the marble gun curio that PopCap would remix into Zuma and Luxor. Its core verb, shoot color at incoming chain, match 3, clear, echoes Zoop's DNA, albeit on a circular track. In 2000, Intelligent Systems cranked out Pokemon Puzzle League with garbage counters that escalate via uninterrupted chain speed. Designers later admitted studying multiple real-time puzzlers, Zoop included, for pacing models. Indie darlings like like 2 dots borrow the one special tile triggers cascading area clears if color conditions align principle. Game genre historians talk about these borrowings at GDC mixers, usually after midnight when NDA anxiety loosens tongues. Even the marketing stunt lives on. Ubisoft's habit of unveiling competitive modes at conventions before they ship mirrors Blockbuster's 1995 tournament Gambit. Imagine strolling into a mall kiosk today, getting drafted into a speedrun of an unreleased Ubisoft Battle Royale, scores streaming to Twitch, leaderboards tweeted under a provisional codename, vintage Zoop energy baby. Academic circles notice too. A 2018 Digra paper titled Visual Noise as Difficulty Modulation in Early Puzzle Games dedicates 5 pages to Zoop's Opti Challenge sequences, arguing they prefigure modern adaptive difficulty where games deliberately obfuscate vital cues under stress. The author calls it ocular friction. That phrase belongs on a t-shirt. Zoop's biggest legacy though might be cockroach durability. Boot a cartridge today and 0 battery saves means 0 rot risk. The ROM occupies a meager 8 megabits, so flashcard owners preserve it flawlessly. Forums still run high score contests. Twitch streamers slotted into charity marathons for comic relief, rarely lasting beyond level 20 before chat rooms cheerfully spam number opti-eyes. My personal best remains level 77, achieved at 2 AM while Hypno Larry flickered rainbow shrapnel across the wall. I shouted so loud the downstairs neighbor emailed the landlord. Closing paragraph plus score. Is Zoop the once promised largest killer of time? Maybe not. Tetris continues that murder spree unchallenged. But Zoop remains the undisputed monarch of kaleidoscopic panic. A purity test for anyone who claims puzzle reflexes never sweat. Boot it on a CRT, dim the lights, and watch the playfield pulse like a rave flyer nobody invited you to. If your eyes survive, you will find an elegantly cruel design that still embarrasses flashier descendants. Hypno Larry nods, spinning a final shard of rainbow across my desk, while my thumbs rehearse level 15's opening volley in phantom muscle memory. Final score, 8.0 out of 10. A frenetic, color-swapping tour de force that deserved louder applause, still worth your cartridge hunt, and absolutely guaranteed to make your retinas file HR complaints.